It's unheard of. I don't think anybody anticipated this. But the biggest, the
So there was
argument,
no cap on it?
there is a lawsuit being filed.
Right.
And I'm a plaintiff on that
Yeah,
lawsuit,
good.
myself and about 5 other members. The lawsuit is on the intent issue. I know you're aware of this. I want to just explain this real quick. The General Assembly and the budget we just passed, number one, we removed the governor's initiative to expand Medicaid from the budget. He had presented us with his budget, the executive budget. We removed the provision he had put in it, calling for the expansion of Medicaid. Then we put a provision in that said that he couldn't use the controlling board as a mechanism to expand Medicaid. And then we did not appropriate any monies to expand Medicaid. Well, he eliminated our provision to calling for him not to use the controlling board. And went ahead and used the controlling board, as I mentioned earlier. But it's eminently clear, at least in my mind, of course I'm biased, but in my mind, it's eminently clear that there was no intent on the part of the legislature to expand Medicaid. So that's what this suit is all about. It's being filed by the 1851 Congressional Law Institute in Columbus right now.
Well, and that was my follow-up question is, you're right. I mean, there was no intent because what's really confusing to me, and I'm a party chairman here, is how the heck does Bill Batchelder, who refused to let you guys even vote on that or debate the issue, because he, and my thought was because he was so adamantly against it, and then he allows this process to go. I mean, that was one of the arguments that the folks in the administration have been using, is that you guys wouldn't even debate it, you wouldn't even bring it up, you wouldn't even do anything with it, so you wouldn't even vote on it. You guys refused to vote. And what I didn't have any problems with, because like you're saying, the intent seemed to be that you had, the legislature had no interest in even dealing with that issue.
Well, you know, I've heard that before, but the fact is, there are many things we refuse to vote on.
Right.
You know, we don't vote every session on the freedom of speech.
But that's what
You know, I mean, that is because we're not challenging.
But it seemed like Bill Batchelder was the one refusing to even take it.
Yeah,
He had to, like,
he didn't move. Bill Batchelder is a great man,
But now he's.
but he's a party man. And that's what we have in Columbus.
He's got a
It's party
shiny new
people.
car.
But, you know, we're not elected to serve the party. We're not elected to ensure the political future of John Kasich. That's not my goal in Columbus. That's not why I serve.
But I'm not sure how you would call it a party man, because the party isn't for this.
Well, Governor
John
Kasich,
Kasich is not the Republican Party.
Governor, he's not, but he's, well, in Ohio, he in many ways is.
No, he's not. Who would ever say that?
I
But
said-
that is just
Well,
not
not
true.
us in this room.
Well,
He says he's Republican.
who's our
And yet here we are.
Who's our party chairman?
Matt Borges.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well,
He didn't vote on
but,
it.
you know, Bill Batchelder feels strongly that we have to have a Republican governor, and to ensure that, he feels that Medicaid expansion is a major part of the equation, because with that, Kasich can reach out to moderates, independents, and Democrats, and win their vote. Feeling is he's gonna get Republican votes anyway. You know the old equation. That's what's being applied here.
Well, that was where my confusion was, because I really thought that Batchelder was against Medicaid expansion. That's why he was
First and
keeping you
foremost,
guys from even voting.
first and foremost, he's for our party. I think, that's what I believe. Now, I could be wrong. I don't want to speak for Bill Batchelder. He's a fine man in many ways. But I believe first and foremost, he's a loyal party guy. And I think you can say that of every Republican leader we have in Columbus
So
right
if you read anything in the party platforms, whether it's the Republican National Platform or our Lake County platform, we would be against it.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to move on here. I'm sorry. You
Thank you.
guys can discuss it. We've gone a little bit long, but I just need to take a couple more minutes if you be patient with me. wanted to mention that in the last 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks since we had our last meeting, we've had a number of accomplishments as a group, even though there are a lot of discouraging things that have happened in that time. We have fought Medicaid expansion. We lost on this controlling board, but our voice, among other liberty groups in Ohio, caused the Medicaid expansion to be removed from Governor Kasich's budget originally by the House, and it wasn't voted on, and he had to go through this backdoor approach to get Medicare expansion. I don't know that the final decision is in yet. We've also fought for Obamacare defunding and delay by calling our representatives. They at least initially put up a fight. I think I would call it cave and capitulate, but they did. But at least they raised the issue. We had Senator Cruz and Senator Lee, who were really outspoken on our behalf. Comprehensive immigration reform has not progressed, but we have to be aware of that because that's probably going to be coming back. Gun control, after a number of the shootings and stuff, was turned away as well. So we've had a number of successes, I think. And there's growing opposition to the Common Core education standards. That's another positive. We had a number of folks that went down to Columbus when they had the hearing with Representative Thompson down there. There were, I think, well over 200 people that showed up at that event. We're starting to recognize the evils of Agenda 21. The fact that you're here tonight to listen to this, to learn about it, and we had a number of, a pretty good representation at that meeting in Paynesville last Thursday night on Agenda 21. And they had these little handheld voting devices where they give you a bunch of questions where they want you to answer a certain way, and they were getting the wrong answers all the time. We also have in the back here our library of DVDs and books that are available. Please take a look at those things. They're available to borrow. There's no cost, but we want you to be able to learn about the things that are going on. We have some signs back there that are available. A $10 donation is requested, but if you don't have $10 and you want to sign, they're yard signs. You can, and they're being held up back there right now. They're available. There's a membership table if you'd like to sign up. An annual membership is $25. And finally, our next meeting is November 19th, Tuesday, November 19th. It'll be here. Our speaker is Tom Zawistowski. He'll be speaking to us about the current things going on in Ohio. Tom is well respected in Ohio. He's the head of the Portage County Tea Party. He's former president of the, or executive director, whatever the title was, of the Ohio Liberty Coalition. He's the one that's organized the We the People Convention, and he's very passionate about our country and our liberty and our freedom. So please make every attempt to be here for that meeting on the 19th. So I thank you all for coming, and we got one quick announcement.
I'm sorry, just one quick announcement. Kim Laurie from the 912 Project asked on behalf of all the folks, can we have our Republican endorsed candidates at a forum? So I said yes. So we're having a meet and greet for anybody who wants to come and see the Republican endorsed candidates for this year, because as you know, when you go to vote this time, it's not going to say Republican or Democrat next to their names because they're all nonpartisan elections. So we always get the question, who's the Republicans, who aren't? And so if you can come and meet, it's 6 to 7 o'clock at Republican headquarters on Monday, just coming Monday, the 28th. You'll get to meet all the endorsed candidates for this year. So just whatever community you might be in, these folks, you need to know who they are, and know the right folks.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.